So it's been a minute since I vlogged. Reason being is because I actually wanted to really process what it is that I wanted to transition in as a creative in my space. So I don't know if I gave you guys a clear idea of who I am fully as a designer. So short story. I am a digital designer. I used to work for Nickelodeon. I was working on a team that was responsible for designing all of the content on the Nick.com website. I was there for 3 years and 8 months. And while I was there, it was an awesome opportunity when I first started, like learning what my role was and what the everyday was like. So once you start getting the understanding of what your role is, it's like figuring out the process. So I figured that part out and understood what the role was. It probably took me about a good month to figure that out. And then once you get that, the process starts. So I was there, like I was saying, for a while, and I realized that I wasn't growing. And being in a space where you're not growing is not good. You become complacent. I believe, honestly, that's what happened to me, being comfortable in this space where I wasn't growing. And it's very detrimental to my career as a designer. It's not a good space to be in. So a blessing happened, and a blessing in the form of layoffs. So I was laid off. Actually, the team was downsizing, and I saw this happening like through different teams. We were told that, oh, it's not going to happen to our team, but it did. And that happens a lot in big companies, big corporations, where they have to downsize due to losing money. I say all that to say that happening to me was indeed a blessing. It's the freest I've ever been in my career, where I am an art director, I am a creative director, I'm a designer, I sometimes write copy. I'm all of those things now. I'm in control of those things. So the month of April, I've been wanting to not just design and work with projects with clients, but also I wanted to network. That is the biggest thing that I have not been able to do, is network, put myself out there. And I was like, you know what, I want to take advantage of that. What's happening in the city that I can actually, it can help me put myself out there. So I started researching, and I found out about an actual co-worker space. If you guys aren't familiar with co-worker spaces, they're basically spaces that, a business that you actually rent space from. So if you're an entrepreneur and you need a office, you can rent space there. They have other amenities that you can be a part of. So it's just this company called Kismet. They are a co-worker space. They have 3 locations, Spring Arts, Chestnut Hill, and Manayunk. So I was randomly in well, not randomly, I get my hair done still in Manayunk. I knew that this location was coming up because I actually followed them on Instagram. So I knew that they opened a location. I went in for a tour. I got shown around of the space. I got to see like the different office spaces, the office space types. There's 2 floors in this space where, and it's beautiful. It has like a huge skylight that shines in natural light. There is a kitchen area, like a lot of conference rooms, like, and then they have like a area where, like a gathering area where they have a lot of like networking events. It was interesting to go because like I got to actually really see the look and feel of it. And like to know that Philly has spaces like that was a sign for me to see like, okay, there's opportunities here in my city. Because when I graduated from art school in 2010, there were no creative spaces, well, co-worker spaces like that. Like I found out about co-worker spaces in New York City. So to see that there's places like that here, oh, I was just like enthralled. The woman who was giving me a tour, was telling me about social events. She said we hold a social event. I believe they do it weekly, if I'm not mistaken. And she told me about an event they were having the following. I did go, and it was amazing. So the event was featuring a talent. Her name is Shannon, and she has a brand called Yowie. And Yowie is basically I would call it a home living brand. So basically what happens is she has her own online shop where she sells products that you can like place in your home. Like beautiful rugs, candles, sculptures, books, very artsy and eclectic items, right? That you can't find anywhere. Oh, you can find them places, but it's very unique. And she created this brand while she worked at her career job. I believe she started the brand when she worked either at Ralph Lauren or Tommy Hilfiger. And with that experience that she had working for those brands, she was able to see what it was like to work on a brand from the ground up.
So I joined this like startup team there in 2007. And it was really cool because I think that really informed me starting Yowie, because I got to see a brand built from the ground up. We were only 6 people when we started. And when the line closed, we were a team of like 60, and we had 7 stores that we all launched together from the beginning. So I saw what it takes to do everything behind the scenes. We were all part of every conversation.
And with that experience, she created her brand while she was working at her job. And she went into the story talking about how she realized that she wanted to do her brand full time. And she actually quit her job and she did it full time. But the circle of people around her, like her parents, for instance, were questioning why she left this secure job and decided to start her own brand. And it reminded me of the message, the saying of the tip of the iceberg. Most people see that tip. Like, could you imagine if the Titanic, if they actually knew that there was a chunk of ice at the bottom of that iceberg? They could have maneuvered differently, right? So the way I look at Shannon, seeing not just the tip of the iceberg, but also the chunk was her brand, right? She saw the bigger picture. And most people on the outside looking in can't see that. But now, from the fruits of her labor and the consistency with her brand and like doing it constantly, there's growth. She's been doing it for 3 years, and I think now her family sees not just the tip of the iceberg, but also that chunk. So hearing her story and her talking through her social media channels and how she uses that as a way to have a direct connection to her consumers was very uplifting to me, because I find myself pushing out my brand and like really trying to tell the story in that sense, and realizing some people don't understand the story, but that's okay. You know, that's not the purpose, is to get them to understand it. It's more for me to pour into it, right? So not getting caught up on that, but like pouring into what it is that I love, right? And doing what I love is what I'm doing right now. It's challenges in it, definitely, but I am in a space where I love doing this. I love designing. I love designing all of the pieces to my content, from the Instagram page to my YouTube channel, title cards, and all those things, my YouTube thumbnails. Like those things, I design them because that's who I am, right? So like, even though like we're looking for viewership, you're looking for followers, you're looking for engagement, yeah, it'll come, but I want it to come organically. I don't want it to come in a space where it's not real. I want to design things that connect to people, inspire people, real engagement. So I don't get caught up in numbers. I don't get caught up in algorithms. I design here and people will find me. And however long it takes, like I'm in it for the long haul because I believe in it and I believe in myself. So from being in this space with Shannon and her talking about that, I was just like, wow, this This is I need to be in a space like this.